obviously invited, so call me back. Okay, love you. Bye.
What's up, you guys, and welcome back to Emotionally Online, the weekly slumber party for spilling guts and sharing secrets, hosted by yours truly, the slumber party master, Maddie Drossbeck. We're sitting in a slumber bag. Sorry, why do I keep saying that? Sleeping bag. Sleeping bag circle with our heads in the middle, and we have our NV3s tucked under our phones, and we're giggling, and we're writing in our Coke or Pepsi books, and we're having a little laugh, and we're sharing all our secrets, and we feel so good about it. We love oversharing because this is a trusted circle of besties. What is said here stays here, and nobody will break that trust. It is a sisterhood and a bond for life. Welcome. That's a really intense intro if you've never listened to this show before. Hi. How are we doing? How are we feeling? Big order business before we really get into talking is look at what I'm wearing right now. This lavender sweat set, baby. It's from the second round of merch. Oi, 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 oi. Second round of merch is officially done. The designs are finalized. Don't have a date for when it's going to be launching yet, but here's your first initial sneak peek at it. If you follow the Emotionally Online podcast Instagram account, you saw this sneak peek a few days ago. I did post it on my story on that account. There's like 3,000 people that follow that account. So I'm like, we got the close-knit group of besties happening over there. You guys got to see it before anyone else did. So if you want to see what I'm doing, little sneak peeks that I have going on, be sure to follow the podcast account and my main account. So I'll probably post on there before you hear about it in the videos that I have to spend hours filming and editing. Anyways, much easier to post an Instagram story. So here's the sweat set that we're launching. Emotionally Online. We've got the rotary phone design in the middle. It says Emotionally Online around it. And then the sweatpants have a rotary phone on the hip. And then it says Emotionally Online down the right leg. Then we've also got a band tee and an embroidered Emotionally Online sweater that's coming out. The band tee is an Emotionally Online band tee, and on the back, the tour dates are all of the episodes from last year, season 1 of the show. So very cool stuff. I'm so excited for it to launch and for it to be in your guys' hands. I'm excited that this line is all Emotionally Online stuff. This sweat set is what I am personally the most excited about as a sweat set girly, a sweat set connoisseur, as someone that works from home, does most of my life from home, loves being at home, loves a good slumber party. A good sweat set is essential. I feel like I'm always wearing sweat sets when I record the podcast. It's either a sweat set or I have the matching sweatshirt off and I have a little tank top on instead, which honestly might end up happening in the middle of this episode because I get a little sweaty sometimes when I be talking for an hour straight. So the fit is perfect. We went back and forth. We went through like 3 or 4 rounds of samples before I decided on a fit that I thought was perfect. I was really trying to mimic some of the oversized sweat sets that I already own and love, and making sure that the size range is still going to go up to a 6X, 5X, 6X. I forget which one. So we'll have a wide size range going on here. And it's an oversized fit. So I'm wearing a 2X, and the sweatshirt and sweatpants are both loose on me. The waistbands are very stretchy. So, yeah, it's going to be amazing. I'm super excited for you guys to get your hands on it. So as soon as I know when these are launching, you guys will be the first people to know. And until then, I will keep posting some teasers to get you guys excited for it. So just know it's coming. End of May, beginning of June time, let's say. Something around there. Probably June. Oi, speaking of June, I can't wait for Love Island to come back. I keep thinking about it, and I'm just so excited to be back in the villa, mate. What else would I be excited for? I just simply have got nothing else going on over here. It's just me and some hot babes in the villa. Which, it's going to be kind of a crazy month of June, especially with Love Island being back. I'm going to explode. there's like a period of 3.5 weeks where I'm not going to have a second of alone time. So I'm going to be losing my fucking mind, but it's going to be so much fun. I'm so excited because basically I'm going to Europe for 2 straight weeks, going to Italy and Greece. I'm planning on recording the podcast while I'm there. Because Love Island is airing. So I need to be watching Love Island every day while I'm in Europe, and then also doing the podcast so I can stay up to date with everything. It's going to be a lot. Traveling all around Italy and then Athens to Mykonos with a group of you guys. There's 20 of us going to Italy and then 20 of us going to Greece, different groups of people. It's going to be literally the most fun 2 weeks of my life. But it's going to be a lot while watching Love Island and doing the podcast. And hopefully I'll already have my YouTube videos done. / I probably won't be posting a lot in June. I've already been posting less on my YouTube channel in general just because the videos have been taking me longer lately. I've been putting a lot more into them. So there'll probably be 2 or 3 videos that month, not 4. And there'll be a podcast every week. That's what we're aiming for. But it's going to be a lot. Europe for 2 weeks, and then I come home and my sister's with me, and then I go like straight to hang out with my family. So it's going to be 3.5 weeks where I am like just constantly with people. So every introvert, I need you to send me peace and love in the comments. I'm going to be trying my best to carve out some alone time during that time. And my excuse for it is like, I actually, it is my job to be alone and watch Love Island. So let me be. So anyways, it's going to be a super fun summer. I'm traveling a lot, but yeah, the introvert in me does look at my travel plans for the summer and go, how are you going to do that, babe? You freak out if you have like 4 days without any alone time, 3.5 weeks. That's ambitious. I will cry, but it's okay. It's okay. We love crying because we're overwhelmed. It happens a lot. If you see me crying at all in the month of June, understand that I'm feeling a lot of things. I'm overwhelmed. And crying is good. Let it out, baby. Yeah. I was listening to a podcast that I really love earlier today. I went out to a little coffee shop, had a little bagel, had a little coffee, and was listening to the most recent episode of Finding Mr. Height, which is a dating podcast that I love, that I listen to. A lot of you guys always ask me for like recommendations of other dating content that I like and listen to. And I really don't consume a lot of dating content on the internet because I think a lot of it is bullshit, to be honest with you. But I also, because it's what I talk about a lot in my videos, I kind of don't want, I'm like, I need a break from that kind of content. Most of the podcasts I listen to are just comedy podcasts. I'm an H3 fan, diehard H3 fan. So that's most of what I listen to is H3, since they do 5 episodes a week and they're all like 2 to 3 hours long, sometimes longer. So that takes up a lot of my life. So it's mostly like comedy, internet commentary podcast that I listen to, usually not people that are doing the same thing that I'm doing. But the one show that I listen to pretty regularly that does similar dating type content that I do is Finding Mr. Height, hosted by Allie Jackson and Erica Spera, which I found I've suggested Allie's content on TikTok before, back when I used to have a TikTok and would be like, I hate dating content on TikTok except for Finding Mr. Height, because Allie has great takes. I think that I feel very in alignment with her perspective on the dating world in general. And yeah, I just love her content so much. And so anyways, I was listening to their most recent episode of the podcast, and they were talking about they polled their audience and asked them, would you have sex in your friend's bed? Like if you were house sitting for your friend, would you have sex in their bed? It's not a situation of like you have a roommate and there's another bed that's an option, like your bed is in the house or there's a guest bedroom. Your bed is not there. There is no guest bedroom. You are cat sitting for someone, you're house sitting for someone. The only place that's available to have sex is your friend's bed. Would you have sex in their bed? Which I thought was such an interesting question. And I loved hearing what the response from their audience was. So I would love to hear what your guys' takes on this in the comments or in the Spotify Q&A section, which I love that they added, because now I can add little questions for you guys to answer if you're Spotify listeners. But if you were house sitting for your friends, would you have sex in their bed? And if someone was house sitting for you, would you be mad if someone had sex in your bed? Thoughts. Their audience seemed to be majority of people saying absolutely not. I would never, and I would never want someone else to do that in my bed, which I was kind of shocked at. I don't know if I just don't give a fuck about that kind of stuff, to be honest. In fact, when I ask people to come cat sit, I'm kind of like, that's half the appeal of cat sitting, is it not? Like, I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to be gone for a week. I need someone to come cat sit my apartment. A lot of my friends live with roommates. So it's like, here, come live at my apartment for a week by yourself. You have this space all to your own. Invite people over. I mean, don't throw a party, but like invite your friends over, invite your partner over, have sex. Your roommates aren't here. I don't give a fuck. Why would I care? It's just a bed. It's an item of furniture. I don't find it weird at all. And it is one of those things that, like, I think my friends know that I wouldn't find it weird. So I don't think they would even ask me for permission before doing it. I think they just would, which I'm totally fine with. You don't have to ask me for permission. If I'm asking someone to house sit for me, it's because I trust them. I would personally only want my super close friends to cat sit or house sit for me, mainly because I want someone here that I can like trust around my home and my belongings, to be respectful, to treat my home the same way that I treat it, and to most importantly love my cat in the way that I love her. Okay, we need to shower her with love. I always need someone to stay here at the apartment when I leave, because the thought of Mango spending even one night by herself makes me want to actually start sobbing. So I have friends sleep at my apartment when I am not here, because Miss Mango needs a lot of love. Yeah, she does. Oh, and she just saw a bird outside, so there she goes. But yeah, I don't even think my friends would ask me if they were going to bring their partner over or have sex in my bed, because I feel like it's already pre-established that I wouldn't care. And I think there's friends of mine that if they asked me to cat sit, or I've never cat sit or house sit for anybody, but if somebody asked me, I think a lot of people, I would run it past them first. But there are some people that I feel like we're on the same vibe. They wouldn't care. So it wouldn't even matter. As long as you're being respectful, like invite your fucking boyfriend over, invite your partner over. I don't care. Who cares? It's just a bed. I guess I don't understand what the weird part is. Is it just like the idea that this is your friend's bed? But like they're not there. They're not in the room staring at you. It's just like an item of furniture. I don't understand really, I guess. There's like, some people get weird, or like it's the memory of something be associated with this. Like, you know that someone did have sex there. I'm like, as long as they cleaned up afterwards, I don't see what the big deal is. I don't know though, because I guess a lot of people are firmly against this and are like, do not have sex in my bed, which is fair. If you don't want that, you don't want that. I was just shocked that it was a majority no situation. I felt like most people would probably be like, yeah, word. I mean, I guess a lot of people might not want to know about it, and they'd just be like, I wouldn't care, but just don't even ask me. Just do it and make sure I never find out about it. I wouldn't care either way. Like, you don't have to ask me, because I think it goes without saying that I'm fine with that. In fact, I think it's half the appeal of cat sitting for me, is having a 1-bedroom apartment all to yourself, having alone time with your partner, because you have roommates and you can live here for a week and do whatever the fuck you want in here. Sounds fun. But also, if someone asked me, I wouldn't be weird about it. If my friend was like, do you mind if my boyfriend comes and stays over? I'd be like, have at it. I don't care. I wouldn't feel weird about them asking me. But some people would. Interesting, though, right? I love a little question like that, because it's like any answer is fine, I guess. But people are divided. People are very split about this one. And yeah, I just loved that one. It was a great episode in general. It's their episode titled the dating fatigue one, and or the dating app fatigue one. But they were talking a lot about dating app fatigue, obviously, and just being sort of like exhausted and over dating app culture, which I don't know anybody that's like into dating apps right now. I'm like on Hinge, but I haven't been on a Hinge date all year, and I haven't really been swiping in the last 2 months. The last time I went on a date was like the speed dating event. I was seeing someone earlier this year. And recently I feel like I'm more into like just hitting on people on Instagram or like, I don't know, just exploring other methods. I would love to try a matchmaker. I signed up for like this matchmaking beta, so we'll see how that goes. If I end up doing any of that, I'll make a YouTube video out of it. But I feel like I'm just more interested in other methods of dating right now. I really don't care for dating apps at the moment. And they were talking in the episode about how they feel like there's a big sort of reckoning that's about to happen in the dating app space, which I completely agree with. I think the dating app format is getting really tired and people don't really like it. It makes people feel worse about themselves, and more people are becoming more interested in speed dating events, matchmaking events, and like other more in-person ways to connect with people. And I think this is a product of a lot of things, but especially now that we're like, 3 years out from the beginning of the pandemic, when we went through this era of everything being online, and we've been slowly coming out of that. And now people are like just fucking sick of it, and they want to date in a completely different way. And the way that dating apps are going, where everything is just getting more and more expensive. There's all these paywalls now. If you want to like really see who likes you and get the best matches, you have to pay for the premium features on all of these apps. And half the time the pool that you're in isn't even fucking great in the first place. So it's like you're paying for premium to get better matches when really like the pool of people that you're pulling from is like, okay, so you have the best picks from like the worst fucking dating pool of people you've ever seen in your entire life. I don't know anybody that's single right now that is like, yeah, I'm on dating apps every day and we're swiping and we're having a good time. Pretty much everyone I know that is single is like, yeah, I mean, I have the app downloaded, but I really haven't been swiping and I'm sort of fucking over it. And I'm more interested in doing anything else in any other way. I really don't see myself using dating apps a lot this summer, if at all. Partially because I am traveling so much that it's sort of like I've got too much going on to really be dedicated to dating in New York this summer, because I'm only here for like, periods at a time, and then I'm back and forth and this and that and whatever. So it's going to be a lot. I don't think that I'm fully in the dating mind space of the apps right now. And I do feel more drawn to like other ways of dating and flirting and engaging in that side of myself right now, to be honest. I'm like in my flirty friendship era, I think. I'm way more interested in befriending people that I think are cute and just having a flirty little friendship moment and being like, whatever happens, happens. The future is a mystery to you and me both. And I'm cool with just being friends and being flirty right now. And I think it's because I have so much going on this summer that I'm like, I really don't have that much time to date. I still want to date, but it's like the odds of me finding someone when I'm going to be barely here are just slim. So I'm like, maybe it's just more fun right now to make new friends and hit on them. So that's what I've been doing. And it's been fun. So anyways, I think that's going to be my vibe this summer, is just befriending hot people, which I'm already only friends with hot people. Duh, obviously. All my friends are literally the sexiest people on the face of the planet. Befriending more hot people and then just flirting with them. And then we either are hot friends for the rest of eternity, or perhaps we explore something more. So that's where my head's at right now. And they actually sort of talked about that on the Finding Mr. Height episode, where she's been on Bumble BFF, and how she's really enjoyed the more like casual dating app style when applied to friendships, because it's like so low stakes and low pressure. And she was like, I kind of wonder if dating would be more fun if we treated it the same way we do as making new friends. And I was like, that is exactly what I've been thinking lately. Not that it isn't always like that. I feel like part of dating is always making new friends. But when you go into something as like, we are only friends, we are only becoming friends right now, but you've always got a little flirty undertone going, then it's sort of like, I mean, the door's open, I guess, for the future. But right now we're just friends, and we could be hot friends forever, and we'll be cool with that. Or if something happens, something happens. For me, that kind of like dancing in the unknown, the little flirtiness in the middle area is fun right now. I don't know. I think it is just like dating app fatigue. I'm really not interested in being on the apps right now. I'd much rather just meet people in person. And I feel like when you're meeting people in person, when you're dating in person, it always starts with like friendship first, right? Because you're not under the same like pretenses of a dating app where you're like on the app knowing that you're going on dates, versus when you meet someone in person and you click, or even if you're like sort of flirting with someone on Instagram, you slide in their DMs. It usually starts a little bit more casual, unless like we are dating. We met on an app where dating is the intended purpose of this interaction. It's like you're more focused on just getting to know each other as people, and there's flirtiness and there's some fun stuff that can happen, but it's sort of more of a question mark as to if that's the vibe, and you sort of have to figure that out rather than having that be pre-figured out because you met on a dating app, which sometimes it's nice to have that pre-figured out and pre-vetted. And that's how I felt a lot in the past, of like, oh, it's nice to be on a dating app and, you know off the bat that someone's attracted to you, and have sort of that already pre-established, like at the very least, we both find each other physically attractive. We're both maybe looking for the same thing. We swiped for whatever reason. There's like a lot of like stuff that's pre-established, versus when you're sliding into someone's DMs out of the blue, you have to be a certain level of confident to do that in the first place, and or meeting someone in person. And for a while, I thought that I just wouldn't be into doing all of that. I didn't think that I was confident enough. And I think over the last few months, I've just learned that that was me holding myself back from even trying, because I haven't been using dating apps, and I have been hitting up people on Instagram and flirting in person. And I just feel like I've been having fun doing that. So it wasn't as scary as I thought it was going to be. And now I feel pretty uninterested in dating apps in general, and more interested in more of the like just having fun aspect of putting myself out there with people, not necessarily confirming a date or guaranteeing the fact that I'm going to go out with this person in a romantic way, but just enjoying the flirting, the in-between, the not knowing, which I think is easy for me right now, especially because I have such a packed summer. So it's more fun to have things that are more loosely defined, to have some flirty friendships that may or may not turn into something later on. Who knows? But that's how I'm feeling right now. That's how I've been living my days. I was going to talk about body image in today's episode, but I feel like I've been talking for so long that I'm going to save that topic for next week. A lot of questions this week about body image, being friends with people who have toxic body image, how to like navigate those conversations of setting boundaries with people, how to, if you are the person with toxic body image and you are self-aware of that and don't want to trigger the people around you who are healing from similar things. I was going to talk about all that kind of stuff. It's going to send me into an hour-long tangent though, so I'm not going to start now. So instead, I'm going to answer some other audience submissions that I have gotten over the last few weeks. So let's dive in. First one. Hi, Maddie. Weird question, but do you consider hickeys to be unprofessional or think that other people should be socially allowed to comment on them? I have had several instances in my life where people have made a big deal about them or will not stop staring, and it has always made me uncomfortable and feels invasive. Hasn't everyone had a hickey, and do other people find it necessary to be nosy about what others do in their free time? I think it ends up affecting the people around me emotionally more than it does me. By the way, I absolutely love the podcast. You are so talented, and I love listening to someone with strong opinions and such a high emotional intelligence. Keep up the great work. That's so nice of you. Shout out. Thanks for submitting. So let's go back to the beginning question here is, do you consider hickeys to be unprofessional or think that other people should be socially allowed to comment on them? I mean, I don't think that people shouldn't be allowed to comment on them, because I don't think that not talking about things makes things more accepted. So I think it's fine for people to comment on them. I don't see a problem with it. I do think that overall, people's perception of hickeys is more negative. And I would say, I don't know that I care about what other people do personally. If I see another person with a hickey, I don't really think anything of it. Like, you do you. I don't give a fuck. For myself, though, I don't like when people give me hickeys. It feels very juvenile to me, and you have to do it intentionally. Like, anytime somebody's like, oh, I didn't mean to, giving me a hickey, I'm like, bullshit. You have to suck, dude. I felt it when you were giving me one. Like, you don't just like magically get one. So it always feels like I'm like, it always feels like someone's trying to stake a claim on me when they do that. They're trying to leave a mark on me so that people that see me in the next few days understand that I've been claimed, which I've never really liked because I've never been in a relationship. So if someone's putting a hickey on me and they're like staking claim, I'm always like, why the fuck are you doing that? And yeah, so I don't really like it because I just am like, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that purposefully? Like, I've got things to do. I've got a life to live. And I'm not going to cover it up with makeup because I don't care enough to do that. And also, you can never really fully cover it up. But I remember being in college, having to go to my internship with hickeys on my neck and always feeling a little like, I wish I didn't have to go with hickeys on my neck. Not because I was embarrassed that they were there, but because I didn't want them there in the first place. You know what I mean? Like, there's nothing wrong with them. I'm not embarrassed to have them because, oh, people know that I had sex. It's like, I don't want them there because I don't know why someone's like trying to stake their claim on me in that way. Because you don't get hickeys accidentally. I'm done with this claim. People are always like, oh yeah, I didn't even realize I was giving you a hickey. Yeah, bullshit. You knew that you were giving me a hickey. I've never given anyone a hickey because you have to suck. You have to suction cup your face to their neck. You're like that fucking lady from Monsters Inc. Like, that is so purposeful. And so, I mean, I haven't had a hickey since I was probably like 19 or 20. And if any grown adult man tried to give me a hickey, I would be like, excuse me, what are we doing? Okay, you can apply that suction somewhere else on the body. Like, sorry, I don't need all that. It's just like, why? What's the reason? What's the purpose? So, I mean, other people can do what they want. They can live their life, and I really don't give a fuck. For me personally, I don't like them. I don't like having them. I don't understand it, really. I love a little neck sucking, but you do not need to give me a hickey. There's just no reason you need to suck that hard. But I don't think it's bad for people to comment on them or be like pointing it out. Because, like, obviously people are going to do that. And I think it would kind of be worse if everyone was like, we can't talk about hickeys. Off limits. If you see one, you have to shut up about it. We don't talk about that here. Like, I feel like that would be worse. I mean, I think you're right. I think everyone has, at some point in their life, had a hickey. Usually when you're younger. Because why would you want one? But, you know, it happens, I guess. I don't know. For me personally, I'm just like, I don't know why someone would do that to my neck. I've had really bad hickeys before in the past, though. Like, in college, men were eating my shit up. I don't know why. Count Dracula over here trying to suck me dry. All that suckage, and we cannot get enough suckage in the right place. There's only one place on the body that needs some suckage. Okay. Well, I hate that I just said the word suckage like 4 times. So I need to end this question right now. But, yeah, I mean, I don't think hickeys are a big deal at all. Everyone will have one at some point. Would I understand if someone was like, I love having hickeys, and people judge me for having hickeys? I'd be like, but okay, I've got lots of questions. Why do you love having hickeys? But if it's like a situation of like, oh, you know, I'm 20 years old and my boyfriend and I got a little crazy and he went suction cup on my throat and gave me a hickey and people are being mean about it. Like, there's no reason for that. happens, it happens. It's a hickey. It's really not a big fucking deal. So yeah, I don't get it. But people are going to say what they're going to say. People are going to comment on it. Especially, I've seen some crazy hickeys. Sometimes it's like, you can't not say something because it's like, what are you doing? But yeah, I mean, overall, a hickey is a hickey. It's really not a big deal. Hi, Maddie. This podcast has been really awesome to get me thinking about my relationship and intimacy and such. So thank you. Thank you. My partner is wanting to try out role play and I'm nervous to start. I overthink a lot and like to plan out situations in some conversation before having them, but I worry if I apply this to the role play, it will ruin the fun or make it difficult for me to enjoy it and be engaged with it as I'll be constantly second guessing myself. I wondered if you have any tips for role play in the bedroom. So I actually don't think that would ruin your role play experience whatsoever. I think naturally a lot of people want to sort of like have an arsenal of dirty talk ready to go during sex in general, but especially in role play where there's like so much more communication happening, usually, depending what the role play is, I guess. I love role play personally. I think it's so much fun, and it is one of the things that you sort of have to pre-establish that you're doing. Like, I think role play is more fun when you're like, you say ahead of time that like when they come over, the role play starts. So you're like starting it from the second you see each other that day. And it's not like one of those things where you hang out all afternoon and then you're like, okay, role play starts now. It's like, you just have it, you have an understanding that like when you come over today, we're not ourselves. This is our scenario. This is what we're doing, whatever. It's fun, and it's fun to get into it. It definitely will take some getting used to if you are not someone that has ever tried role play before, but it's very fun. And I think I love it so much because it seems to like, it's one of those things where I think it's so much easier to have like fun and to have a little giggle during sexual experiences when you're also doing role play. Like, sex is fun. Sex is funny sometimes. And I think it is like, it's so much of a joy and also so relaxing to be able to laugh with a partner and to be able to just be silly and fun and sexy all at the same time. And, yeah, I think role play just opens that door for a lot of people because it is going to be a little bit silly and a little bit funny and, sexy all at once. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with sort of planning out some things that you could say during this role play, whatever it is, if that's going to make you feel more comfortable. I think in the moment you'll find that once you get into it, you won't need to like pull out those responses as much as you think you're going to. But for your own peace of mind and to make yourself feel more confident, I don't think there's anything wrong with storing some phrases in the back of your mind that you could use during this role play during Dirty Talk. I highly recommend checking out Audio Erotica. There's a lot of audio erotica all over the internet. Dipsy is an amazing audio app that I work with all the time. There's a lot on Reddit as well. So Audio Erotica. Just go in and listen to a bunch of audio erotica stories within the role play that you're going to be doing. And I think you'll get a lot of inspiration based on those audio stories, just listening to the role play being played out by other people. And it's super sexy. So, I mean, I encourage people to listen to audio erotica in general. I think it is so much fun. And it's like a really sexy alternative to porn. If porn isn't something that you really like, but you still want like some type of sexy entertainment to accompany a solo night, solo something. So yeah, I would highly recommend checking that out. Listening to some audios that have similar role play scenarios to the ones you're going to be engaging in with your partner. Build up some confidence just listening to other people. And also like understand that this is supposed to be fun. Role play is supposed to be fun. You don't have to be like a sex goddess that says everything right and is totally comfortable and confident right off the bat. Like, if this is a partner of yours, feel free to communicate that you're a beginner and you're a little nervous and or need them to guide you through the role play or take the leading position a little bit more. I think that's totally fine. And I think that once you get into it, you'll have a lot of fun with it. It's less intimidating than you think it's going to be. It's just fun. It's silly and it's fun and it's goofy. And if you're doing it with someone that you trust, then I think it'll be a great time. Hi, Maddie. So I'm 25 years old and I've never had sex or been in a relationship. I've been on dates here and there and been in the talking stage for a while with some, but I find that I quickly get fed up and bored and end up giving up on people after only a few days/weeks. I definitely want a relationship and I crave physical intimacy, but getting into one is just too much work. Dating is so exhausting and I can't maintain effort/interest in any one person for very long. I struggle to find myself developing feelings for anyone I meet/talk to. I don't quite know what this means for me. I don't want to be single forever. I also would really like to have sex at some point, but the idea of a one-night stand makes me uncomfortable and I worry that the older I get, the more my virginity is a turnoff. Even the idea of having sex with someone I truly love is super scary for me and gives me so much anxiety. For context, I'm into girls and guys, but I'm constantly questioning my sexuality and what I really want in a partner. So I want to start this by saying that everyone's relationship with dating and sex and intimacy is completely different. And I think we are always going to be doing ourselves a disservice by comparing what we are comfortable with at any given time to what people around us are comfortable with at any given time. There is no reason that you should force yourself into being comfortable with a one-night stand if you're not. There's no reason you should force yourself into being comfortable dating and spending a lot of your time dating if you're not. I don't think that you need to do anything that you don't want to do, that you don't actively want to do, just because you're seeing a lot of other people your age do that thing. We all move at different paces. We're all comfortable with things at different times, and we're all figuring ourselves out. There's no reason that at age 25 you have to have everything about yourself figured out, and I wouldn't feel bad about that. You don't need to pressure yourself to feel comfortable with something if you're not comfortable with something, or to have your opinion or stance or the way you feel figured out if it's something that you're still exploring and working through. Like, I would resist putting pressure on yourself in that way, or convincing yourself that like there's a time frame that's appropriate, and if you don't do it within that time frame, then it's going to be weird, or it's going to set you off. It's going to turn people off of you, whatever. I think when you said the bit of like worrying that your virginity is going to become a turnoff the older that you get, that brings up for me the phrase that I cling to and hold near and dear to my heart, which is that you can't say the wrong thing to the right person. And I think that really applies here, where like the right person for you is not going to judge you for not having had sex. I think the right partner for you is going to have a lot of understanding for the fact that you have not had sex yet. I don't think that it's something that you should force yourself into if you are not comfortable with it, if you're not ready for it, if you have not found the right person yet. I think there are a lot of things that contribute to when and why we feel comfortable doing that kind of stuff, engaging in, higher levels of intimacy. But you don't need to feel bad about yourself for not being there yet. That's totally fine. And the right person for you is sincerely not going to give a fuck. If they do give a fuck, they're not the right person for you. And then you also mentioned that you find yourself getting fed up and bored and giving up on people after only a few days/weeks. And you have some trouble maintaining effort/interest in any one person. And maybe that's a product of like you just haven't met the right person for you yet, which is very possible. Or maybe it's something deeper. And I mean, I can't tell you what that is. Maybe it's not deep at all. But if you think that it could be something deeper where you are maybe self-sabotaging, or you just have a hard time trusting people or opening up, and so you sort of stop things before they get to a certain level of depth or intimacy, I think that's something worth exploring in therapy with friends, with people that you trust, something worth reflecting on. Because it could be something deeper to have a think on, or it could just be that you haven't met the right person for you yet, which is also completely fair. That like you haven't wanted to have that closeness, that intimacy with another person yet if you haven't found someone that is right for you. And if you do think that maybe you have met people that were right or could have been right or you could have had that closeness with, and you maybe self-sabotaged or shut yourself down, shut yourself off to that closeness out of fear of intimacy, then that's something to look into in therapy with people that you love. And I don't think you need to feel bad for that either, if that's the case. Like, we all have things that we struggle with dating and intimacy and sex. I've talked about many of the things that I struggle with in these departments. Like, I wouldn't feel bad about it. Okay. Like, we're all just trying to figure things out and explore different parts of ourselves and heal from past things that we've gone through. And, I think the fact that you have any awareness of the fact that, you know, you want a relationship, you want to have sex, you want that closeness, but there's something blocking you from it. I think that curiosity is like all you really need at this point. You don't need all the answers, but having a curiosity towards this part of yourself is really great. And I think that just exploring that, digging a little deeper, asking yourself questions, going back into your brain for things in your past that could have contributed to this feeling, going to therapy if you have access to it, confiding in friends, that's all going to be really helpful to you to sort of understanding yourself better in this time period, and just being more gentle with yourself, because there's nothing wrong with not having had sex yet. There's nothing wrong with not having had sex at any age whatsoever. There's no like cutoff date where you need to have had sex by. I think that's bullshit. And I think that anybody who judges someone else for not having had sex by a certain age is a fucking weirdo. Because why would you force people to have sex by a certain age if they haven't met a person that they feel comfortable having sex with yet? Like, it just is bullshit to me. I don't think that anyone should judge anyone for that. So that's that on that. I'm covered in cat hair right now, dude. Like, Mango's been going to town over here. Let me take one more and then we'll wrap things up. Last submission I have here says, hello, Maddie. So I've been hitting dating hard lately. It's a lot on top of making time for friends and living a well-balanced life. I'm also finding it hard to pinpoint who's the best match for me and who I could have a successful relationship with. Have you ever confused yourself over dating? What do you suggest to figure out who I really like? So for starters, I don't think you have to pinpoint what you like down to one thing. You can like a lot of different things. You can be compatible with a lot of different people. I don't believe in types. I don't believe that we need to narrow down who we are interested in to like this neat and pretty little box. I think there are lots of traits that we can be attracted to, lots of people that could be good for us. And I think as long as you're attracted to someone and you like their personality, there's certain aspects of them that you are attracted to, that you look for in a partner, figuring out if you would actually be compatible with them specifically and if they're a good match for you doesn't need to be something you figure out in the early stages of dating. You will figure that out as time progresses. Time is like the only thing that'll answer that question. If you meet someone and you're like, I like them, I find them physically attractive, I find them emotionally attractive, we have this, that in common, we get along in these ways, they have these traits that I like. I don't know if we're going to be totally compatible just yet. I don't know if we're a good match, but on paper, there's enough there to suggest this is worth my time in some way. I think that's really all you need to start. You don't need all the answers. You don't need to have your type set to a box. I think it's just like an awareness of what you find attractive or what you look for in a partner, and then an openness to explore that compatibility as it moves through the time that you are dating. Some people are comfortable dating for shorter periods of time. You know, there are some people that are like, I only want to date for a month before putting a label on things. And there are other people that are looking for something much more longer. It takes people longer to feel comfortable putting a label on things and deciding like, this is a good match for me. You are my person. And it's fine if you are a part of the group that it takes longer for. I think it'll probably take me longer as well. I don't think I'm a 30 days kind of gal, maybe a 90 days kind of gal. After 3 months, I feel like I would have a pretty good idea of how compatible I thought that I was with a person. But yeah, it's going to depend person to person how long that's going to take you. And if you are someone who doesn't really have any idea what you look for in a relationship or what you would want at all, you have no idea what you're looking for, and you're sort of like, hello, what's going on? I would start by asking yourself, like, in a relationship, how do you want the person that you're with to make you feel? What do you value in a partnership? What is it that's important to you in the people that you love? I think there's a lot of overlap to like the things we care about in friendship and our other relationships. I don't think a romantic relationship is like completely different from the other things we value in relationships. I think it's pretty obvious that what I value in a lot of my friendships and in my relationships as well is emotional intelligence and vulnerability, honesty, loyalty, being with someone that is extremely open, is comfortable with their emotions and ready to sort of step up and be vulnerable and have difficult conversations in a gentle and loving way. That is important to me. I personally do not think I could be with someone that wasn't very comfortable with their emotions or sort of lacked a level of emotional intelligence. I think that it's just like, I know where I'm at, and I want to be with someone that's on a similar level to me. That's not to say that I'm perfect or I am the world's best communicator. I'm absolutely not. But I'm at a certain level with my emotional intelligence, with my ability to engage in vulnerable conversations, show up as my vulnerable, honest self. And I expect the people that I'm with to be able to bring a similar amount of emotional vulnerability to the table. Similar, okay? We don't have to be exactly the same, but you get what I'm saying. I don't think I could date someone who wouldn't open up at all or like couldn't. I don't think I could date someone who couldn't access that part of themselves, wasn't ready to access that part of themselves. I think another thing for me in relationships specifically, I think I also value this in friendships, but it's not one of those things that's like, I don't think I could be friends with you who didn't have this. But in a relationship, it does feel like one of those things that's super important, and it's drive and passion. Not necessarily about a career, but I find drive and passion so fucking attractive. To the point where if someone doesn't have any drive or passion, I find it very unattractive. And I just think that I really want a partner that has the same sort of like excitement for life, for something in their life that I do. I think that's an overlap that means a lot to me. I want someone that has things that they love and has like a whole life outside of our relationship. Independence is also really important to me. Talked last episode about how I don't really want to live with a partner. I want to be with someone that has a full life of their own. I have no interest in being in a relationship where we merge into one person and it's like we have the same friends, we have the same home, we have the same schedule, we do the same that. I don't want that. A lot of people do want that. I do not. I want someone that has a full life of their own, and then we can come together and our lives can overlap and we can come together in a very beautiful way, but we will never merge into being one person. And the drive and passion thing feels like connected to that in a way for me. Like, I don't want to be with someone who I have to sort of handhold through life. I mean, it does connect to career in some way, right? Like, money does have an impact on our relationships and the people that we date. And not that I care about money in relationships in like a superficial way, but more in like a, I don't want to take care of someone way. Obviously, money comes and goes. Life changes. There will be periods in life where you are making more money than your partner is making more money than you. But I think overall, I would want us to have like a similar drive for making money, a similar lifestyle. I would want us to be on similar pages in that way. I don't think I could be with someone who had like no drive for making money and was going to rely on me for all of that. It would piss me off. I want to be with someone that has like their own drive to get shit done. That doesn't mean we have to make the same amount or that things need to be equal. It just means that you have to have drive for it. That's it. You don't need to have it. You have to want it. You know, you have to have something that hops you up, that it motivates you in life. If you're just someone that's like, fuck it, you got this one, babe. I'm like, shut up. I will not take care of her, man. I will be nobody's mother. Okay. I want someone that is independent and driven, has a life of their fucking own. I will not be anyone's mom. I do not want to be light years more impressive than you are. I want to date someone who is also very impressive. That's it. So that's important to me, and it's because I find the opposite of that very unattractive. Someone that lacks drive and passion and is ready to just like kick back while I fund their lifestyle. Like, I would actually rather collapse than date someone like that. But it also, like, drive expands to other things. Like, if you do live together, cleaning, household tasks. If you don't live together, you're just dating, planning dates, putting an effort to how to impress you. Like, I want to be with someone who puts in effort, has like a drive towards putting an effort towards the relationship, that gives a fuck, right? Because I deeply give a fuck, and I'm a romantic, and I'm so much fun to date, and I want the person I'm with to be fun to date as well. I just think that I'm so lovely, so I should date someone that's also super lovely. I could go on, but those are just some of the things that I think about when I think of like, who is the type of person that I want to be with? How do I want them to make me feel? What do I value in a relationship with anybody, in friendships in general? What are the things that I really look for? And the list goes on, but those are some of the things that I think about. But I think it always goes back to like, how do you want the person you're with to make you feel when you're with them, when you're together? What is that feeling that you're dreaming of, that you're thinking of? How do you want them to make your heart feel at the end of the day? And also, I don't think you have to have all of the answers, right? I think that you discover a lot of what you like through the dating process, but I think having a loose idea of like what you like, what you're attracted to is good. But again, you don't need to know all the answers. I think a lot of them just come through time in the dating process, finding out if you really are compatible with each other. So anyways, I'm covered in cat hair right now. Mango has been very involved in today's episode. She's like a Sour Patch Kid today. Sour, sweet, gone. Taking a little snooze now. God, I love her. I love her so much. My little sweet girl. My little sweet baby. Yeah, I'm talking about you. I love you, girl. So, that's it for today's episode. I love you guys so friggin' much. Again, if you want to leave submissions, there is an audience submission box in the description of every episode of the show. Additionally, I don't think I've ever said this, but if you guys want to leave a review for the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, that is very appreciated. Just giving it 5 stars, leaving a little review if you can. That means the world to me. A lot of you guys have already done that, so thank you for doing that, especially when I've never fucking said it. It's like 1.5k of you that's reviewed it on Spotify, which is like, that seems like a lot of people for me having never said that out loud. So appreciate deeply those of you that have rated and reviewed the podcast so far. And if you haven't, if you're a YouTube viewer and you haven't, if you could head on over there and give it a little review, that helps me out a bunch. So with that, I'm going to finish my prebiotic soda, and I'm going to play video games deep into the night and rot my brain, because that's what we love in this house, is a rotted brain. That's what we need at the sleepover, mate. No brains will be left at the end of the night. Anyways, love you guys so much. I'll see you next week.
Okay, it's your turn. Truth or dare?